Hey guys, Corey here. Today we're taking a look at how to use Queen Charge Miner Attack at Town Hall 11. This video is going to be packed with tips, tricks, and hints on how to get this attack pulled off, and honestly, a lot of tips that are going to help you at a lot of different attacks as well. Guys, first thing we're going to talk about is the very basics, but each attack through this video, we're going to be focusing on different pointers that you're going to need to be more effective with this attack at Town Hall 11. Alright, now the basics of this attack, you got the Queen Charge, and then you got the Miners on the back end. Now, for the Queen Charge, you got three objectives. You want to get that enemy CC killed, you want to get some value, although you do get to choose which value you get, and you want to create some good pathing for your Miners. Those are the only three requirements that you have to do with your Queen Charge to set yourself up for 3-star attacks on the back end. Now, with this one right here, it's pretty easy to see the value that he's going for there, and that's going to be the Eagle Artillery, and then, of course, going to be getting the CC kill from there as well. Eagle Artillery is easily the biggest and best value you can get at Town Hall 11. Now, that being said, watch out for traps, man. Watch out, because a lot of people will put Eagle Artillery on the side of the base where there's a ton of storages and non-defense buildings around it. In that case, it's usually not worth it to target the Eagle Artillery if you're not going to be getting a lion's share of other defenses along the way. Alright, and once you get that Queen Charge done, you got to start taking a look at your pathing. Now look at this, right here, we got a really wide section of the base he's planning on starting Miners on. He started his siege barracks way over in the corner, and that gives us between the Queen and the siege barracks to start the Miners, and that's just too wide of a section right there. So what I would have done is I probably would have dropped like a miner, waited until it was tanking this mortar, so that way I could drop my siege barracks on the left and get a little bit narrower funnel for the Miners, possibly even start the Miners in from over here so we have only 4 building wide path for the Miners to sweep their way through the rest of the base. Lux is going to get a little bit lucky on this one because that really wide path. I think he was hoping that his Queen went over this way a little bit more and carved out a few more of these buildings, but look where he's starting his Miners there without funneling this right-hand side. This one's still going to end up working, man, but definitely could work on making some better pathing there, narrowing out the section where the Miners are going to start. If you look at the section that's left right there, man, that would have been a beautiful path for those Miners to go in through. Another point I want to make is that pretty much every Queen Charge Miner attack at Town Hall 11 now is actually a hybrid. As long as you're using that siege barracks and bringing hogs inside of it, which is honestly the only thing worth using and bringing for this attack, at the very least, you're going to be having 9 max hog riders in there helping your Miners. So a little bit later on in the video, we're going to tell how to choose when should you use a hybrid and when should you use a Queen Charge Miner attack as well. Alright, despite the rough pathing over there for the Miners, they managed to get through this base, honestly, quite easily, and one of the reasons for that is this guy had a number of air skellies on this base. Ground skellies can be like kryptonite for Miners, really slow them down a lot, so if you see a base with air skellies, think Miners. Alright, looking at Luke's next attack, we're going to be talking about, first of all, we're going to take a look at pathing, because his pathing on this one is much better than it was on his last one. This one's going to be a good example of how to create the correct pathing for your Miners. Also going to take a look at spells, alright? Generally, for me, when I'm doing these attacks, I've always got at least 2 super wall breakers. I'm bringing 3 rages, 3 heals. He's got 2 freezes, and the reason for that is he only's got 1 super wall breaker, and if we look at the range on this, I don't think he really needed to freeze to get this first wall break. He could have just raged up his Queen and probably gotten an easy wall break that way, or honestly, he probably could have just sent all his wall breakers and still gotten the wall break without the use of a rage. Look at that, nothing's hitting those wall breakers right there. Even had 1 left over. Super wall breaker for the second layer. I like that he saved it for that, but look what he's getting right here, guys. First of all, he's getting the CC. That's one of the 3 requirements we talked about. He's going to charge into this compartment right here and get some value. He's not getting the Eagle, but he's getting a multi, Expo, Grand Warden platform. He can reach several other defenses from in there, so he's going to be getting plenty of value on this charge, even though he's not getting the Eagle Artillery. In fact, the Eagle Artillery is kind of on the back end of the base. Although, you could have started a siege barracks over here, you could have kind of started on the Eagle side, which a lot of times is what you want to do if you're not going to Queen Charge the Eagle, but nonetheless, look at this where he placed the siege barracks. He's got really nice pathing in here. Queen's going to step up, grab a few more of these defenses, leaving a beautiful narrow path for the Miners to work their way through the rest of the base. Now, why did he choose Queen Charge Miners and not Queen Charge Hybrid? Now, some of that might just be personal preference, alright, I'm not going to lie. apply. A lot of that might be personal preference, what you're comfortable with. However, on this one, I'm going to tell you is a pretty good choice because first of all, we got the Eagle on the back end. Miners can weather Eagle shots better than Hogs can because they go back underground for a lot of that damage. Also, we got both enemy royals on the backside. Miners are much better at dealing with enemy heroes than Hogs are. In fact, Hogs will ignore them until all the defenses are gone in the base. So on this one right here, ending on both heroes and the Eagle artillery, I'm going to say Queen Charge Miners was definitely a better option on this base than a straight up hybrid where you have, you know, more Hogs in the attack or equal numbers of Miners and Hogs in the attack. So Miners are really good at weathering those Eagle shots until they get it down on the backside. They're also really good at killing those heroes. So look at how many Miners we got in on that enemy BK. Oh my god, we got so many Miners in there. He goes down. That's because he had so many Miners on this attack, you guys, like 25 Miners. Of course, like I said, it is still a hybrid technically because you're getting Hogs coming out of that siege barracks, so you're still getting that extra push from those maxed out Hogs, but the majority of the Miners getting through the heroes much better on the backside. Only thing I probably would have changed on this attack is not brought any freeze spells. Would have raged this first wall break, used the super wall breaker to get the second layer, and brought an extra heal spell. That's what I love about super wall breakers. I make sure I never use my army if they're not activated, only in friendly wards. That way I've always got super wall breakers to attack with at Town Hall 11. Alright guys, this attack is packed with tricks for you guys. We got two very smooth tricks going down in this base. I'm going to try to make sure I don't miss either of them. First, he's going to start his queen down at 6. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Watch this. One super wall breaker only pulls a few archers out of the CC. Now, he's going to be using sneaky goblins to take out the CC before the clan castle troops can even come out of there. 5 of them enough to do the trick. Boom. We got just a couple more archers pulled out. So how you could have done that just a little bit better is not use the wall breaker, use the jump, that way you don't bring any troops out of the CC. Also, use more super goblins. Looks like he only used 3 out of his 5. If he would have used all 5, no more archers would have come out, but still, super slick trick. Gets that clan castle down with sneaky goblins before the entire CC is pulled. That way he doesn't even have to deal with most of it. The rest of it died when the clan castle went down. Now, as for this trick down here, you might notice he didn't use any funneling troops down here. In fact, he's got tons of miners left because he didn't have to bring funneling troops. The reason for this is a perfectly symmetrical base. So, it doesn't matter if she walks to the right or if she walks to the left. So if you start your queen at the dead center and let her decide which way she's going to walk, you're going to save the hassle of using a bunch of funneling troops trying to determine which way she's going to walk. Now, since she walks right, this is the side he's going to drop his king on. Probably the side he's going to be dropping his siege barracks on as well, and he's going to start the troops on this side. Now, if she would have walked to the left, then the king would have gone down on this side, siege barracks down on this side, and miners and hogs would have started from this side, but you're saving the camp space from not having to bring any funneling troops on those symmetrical bases by letting the queen decide which way she's going to go. One drawback to this strategy is that it does eat up a little bit more time. Usually your queen charge gets underway if you have some funneling troops aiding it along, but look at this, look at this. First of all, this jump right here, he kind of thought he was going to get this Eagle artillery. I mean, he opened up access to it, and from where he had the king, I'm thinking he maybe he was planning on starting miners and hogs on this side, but since he sees his queen's probably not going to target this Eagle artillery, probably not going to be taking that jump, she's got a number of closer buildings, he maybe alters a plan, or maybe just planned on it, but he drops his siege barracks up here, because if he takes out these buildings, he can direct target the Eagle artillery, and when you're direct targeting that Eagle artillery with the first part of your attack, you're getting it down really soon. That way your troops don't have to eat Eagle shots throughout the entire base. So I really like either the plan or the call on the fly right here to get that Eagle artillery down. I really think he thought his queen was going to go get the Eagle with that jump spell, but gets it early on with the miners, so very nice adjustment or very nice plan either way. And here we got miners coming in, guys. When you're healing those miners, man, it's best to remember you're not trying to heal the defenses, you're trying to heal the miners. So it doesn't matter if you're covering a defense with a heal, you have to cover where the miners are going to be at when they're on that defense, or, you know, on that building in general. You kind of tell when they go underground what's the closest defense, what side they're going to be standing on. That is the side that you have to cover with the heal. Look at this, led this one right here. Doesn't really cover like this air defense, doesn't fully cover the expo or the mortar right there, but he definitely covered the sides where the miners are going to be at when they get to those defenses. So instead of covering the defense, you're covering where your troops are going to be at with those heal spells. If you keep that in mind, you're going to be able to get a lot better value out of those heals. You're not going to have a heal that's too shallow for your troops to get the benefit of it. So just remember, when you're planning your heal spells, take that into account, guys. Even though he had to end on 4 expos, he's got so many miners left. And look how many wizards there are, man. He's got so many wizards left over from that siege barracks, guys. That base just got annihilated. All right, guys. Now, I talked earlier about how every Queen Charge miner is a hybrid as long as you're using that siege barracks full of hogs. Look at this one right here, man. He's actually going to be using a hybrid attack, but he's got way more miners than he does hogs. Once again, might come down to personal preference. Honestly, on most of my hybrid attacks, I usually have more miners than hogs, but you can kind of determine what you need and for the base by what you're going to get with the charge, what you're going to have left over for the miners and hogs. So look at this one right here. What he's going to be doing is jumping in right here, grabbing the Eagle artillery. So obviously Eagle's going down, but also because of where he's jumping, he's going to be taking out at least the enemy queen, possibly the enemy king as well, leaving him a nice chunk of base where he's got mostly defenses. He can path it out pretty well with the siege barracks there. No enemy heroes on the backside, no Eagle artillery on the backside. So he decided to bring some hogs on this one because they're going to be effective. But honestly, he could have gone with an even number of miners and hogs on this as well and probably been just fine since he didn't have to deal with heroes and Eagle on the backside of the base. That being said, like I said, on my attacks, normally, just as a matter of preference, I normally do have more miners than hogs. If I saw backside of the base with no heroes, no Eagle, this many defenses moving their way through the core, I might even that number up a little bit, maybe go like 15, something like that. But just in general, because of what I'm comfortable with, my army comp usually looks something like 17 miners, 12 hogs, or depending on how many other funneling troops I have to bring, sometimes as little as 10 hogs, which actually Maestro's really close to on this one. He's got those 9 hogs that he's bringing, but most importantly, he's got those max hog riders that are going to come out of the siege barracks. And honestly, those max hogs are far more effective than our level 7 hogs are at Town Hall 11. Honestly, hogs not even that strong relatively at Town Hall 11, but man, it was at Town Hall 12 when they got that double level boost that they really became very strong for their Town Hall levels. Sure enough, look at this queen taking on the enemy king. Eagle, queen, and CC are already down. He got some big time value from that queen charge, and his troops are just going to have a field day with the rest of this base. We can see those hogs that are going to continue moving in through those defenses only, but the miners at this point, this could be the downside of bringing more miners than hogs, really the only downside to it. Miners will get lost on the outer trash buildings, while hogs will continue to stay focused on the defenses in there, and that's why a lot of times with this kind of backside, you could bring more of an equal number and have more hogs moving through to the very last few defenses on the base. Look at this though, he's got this base annihilated, guys, and that is the gist of how to get it done with Queen Charge miners at Town Hall 11. Hope you guys learned a lot. In the middle of your screen, there's a button. If you haven't subscribed yet, click that button and subscribe right now. I would appreciate it. On the other side, there's another one of my videos, so go ahead and check that out, and we'll keep hanging out.